of course it breaks. Okay, g'day guys, we've got Eddie here.
Yo.
You may know him as ViridianCity from Only One Word. So today's game in particular, how do you think today's game went for your side? Like, how do you think it went overall?
On our
Like,
side,
yeah.
messy, puggy.
Mhm.
It was, yeah. I don't know. It's a bit hard to say because like, we haven't pracked in a while, so all these games are like on the fly, and so when you're versing structured teams and heavy prac teams, it's kind of like you gotta warm up your reactions during the game.
So yeah. Like, how do you like really call those on the fly games in particular? Like, you know, against a team like Mantro, particularly who are more structured and, you know, have a very decent core behind them. Like, do you just try to poke and prod at weak points, or?
Yeah, pretty much. Like with those type of teams, or most teams, I guess, it's just a matter of seeing how they play, like where they play into, and like what trends they have, and then kind of adapting and like just coming up with a fast protocol when they do the same thing. But majority of the time that game, it's like, since it was more on the fly, we got like Sunshines having input, everyone just having input on their side of the map, like CT Terry was having input. Like, it's just whatever confidence pops up, and then yeah, you kind of just capitalize on that.
Yep. So you also went to the Asian Champions League, so ACL, another tournament aptly named after a serious leg injury.
Yeah.
So how
ACL,
ACL, yep. So how did that go in particular? Like, what are your expectations going into it?
Expectations, we didn't want to get knocked out early, like just win as many games as we can. We had a good chance to make the next stage, but with all like the shit happening in the background, it's a similar thing where it's like you're versing like structured teams and like teams that have been pracking heaps, and we haven't been pracking like for a while now, like since I think around after defrag. It's been a bit messy, so over time you lose those habits. And yeah, it becomes a bit like more difficult to try and go deeper into those tournaments, but we did actually alright considering everything.
What's been the big issue? Like, you know, being unable to practice? Is it like times lining up, or what's been going on?
It's just that knowing that players would be going elsewhere, so it's like we just have to make the most of our time. Like Freeman, since he wasn't playing in this game, he's back in Hong Kong, or Hong Kong, I think, or China. But yeah, knowing that, and then also some players just pretty much doing some other things. It's like, yeah, we can't really do much besides play the rest out of the season and see what happens with the roster.
Are you guys keeping the core free at least to keep the VRS, or?
We'll see what happens with that. Ideally, I would like to keep a core and then adjust the roster, but we'll just have to see if it's worth doing, or if there's other opportunities that pop up, then we can go like a different route. But ideally, I would like to keep the core. But yeah, if something else pops up, then whatever.
Also as well with the season of ECL in general, like, you know, how happy are you guys with the ECL season as it is at the moment? Like, you're fourth, you've got guaranteed fourth place. However, you know, you're not guaranteed back in.
Not guaranteed back in. So far, the season's actually been, well, like we've had good results in those BO2s, or like the two BO1s. We had a decent placing. We fumbled probably a few games, but when we were like playing well, it was good. So not really sad about the ECL season right now, and it's like, to get the spot for Pro League, you're versing Rooster, Housebets, Mind Freak, and it's like whoever shows up on the day can kind of, you know, get the win. But yeah, we'll see what happens. It'll be interesting. At least it's like, it's fun playing.
Your next matchup is going to be against Mind Freak, because they got 2-1 by Housebets. What sort of preparation can you go against Mind Freak in particular? Like, do you know like any weaknesses or anything like that within that roster? I mean, they had a roster change as well with Gump for Cairo for Gump.
Yeah, I think going for any weaknesses, I'm not sure. I guess like the structure has changed since the roster changes, and it's something that you could kind of it could give you the advantage going into the game, but I think the main thing is just playing your own game and then playing the style where you just adapt to what's happening. And as long as we're all sharp and switched on the day, then it should be right.
I was just wondering as well, because obviously a lot of teams from ECL are now competing in ESL Open. Are you guys looking to do that or currently doing that at the moment? And what reason could they want to play ESL Open to try and get those spots anyway?
Yeah, so initially we joined ESEA Open just in case we would get relegated, and that was like at a time when I think it was possible that the team would still continue.
Yeah.
But since then we didn't, like, we went to ACL and then we had a lot of open games scheduled, so we pulled out, and then they gave the option where like ESEA, whoever's hosting, gave the option to just play the playoffs. So you get directly invited to the ESEA Open playoffs to try and re-qualify into ECL if you're relegated. So we just said yes to that, but you know, something could change. Yeah.
So what you've been told so far about the play-ins is like, is it like kind of like the 5 open teams and the 5 relegated ECL teams play against each other for a spot, or do you have any information on that?
I think the play-ins should be the top 5 of ESEA Open versus like the relegated teams. Maybe. I forgot exactly. I have the email, but I just know that the teams in ECL right now have the option to just go straight into the playoffs to compete against those teams. Yeah.
Okay, that's pretty good. Because I was going to say, like, I was actually going to ask your opinion, like, you know, how rough is it for some of the lower teams in particular to be forced to play ESEA Open, because otherwise they're not going to have a spot, basically.
True, but at the end of the day, you know, the league is for like the best possible teams. So it's like, wait, Craig said top 2 from last ESEA Open season, and then top 3 in the playoffs this season. Okay. Yeah, so it's a bit of a mix. But yeah, like ideally you would want just the best teams in the region to be in Challenger. So whatever teams can get through from Open, it'll be a good experience. But yeah.
So what do you think this chance of you being back in, obviously, ACL with whatever core that you come up with?
I'm not sure really. Like it could come down to the VIS update after playoffs. It could come down to whatever roster or whatever happens with the players. Not too sure. I think for now we're just playing out playoffs, and then the other stuff is just in the air.
So I think the lock-off date is the 25th of July for the VR slots. And looking at it, you got FlyQuest. You know the decline, most likely. You got Simplify.
Yeah, I assume so.
They could come back, you never know. If they come back, then Mind Freak's in a bit of a shit. Then you got Simplify, then you got Rooster, then you got House Bets, then you got X Talent as well, which also is a team now. This is actually a good question, actually. Do you think FlyQuest will come back to ECL? Or will they still try and fight it out overseas, given the fact that now Simplify actually has some VRS points, Housebets have some VRS points, and Rooster have some VRS points? Because last time they didn't come back because they're just basically giving their VRS points over if they lose the BO1.
Yeah, exactly. I guess it just depends on their schedule. Like, maybe they sign up and then see what happens throughout the season. Like, however long they spend back in Oz, they will just play out the games that they can, but I'm not too sure. As long as they play like whatever land pops up in the region, I think that's like the main goal, because not playing defrag, they just screw them over a little bit. Or actually a lot. So they gained crazy amount of points from that.
Also, as well, I was going to say, with that sort of travel and whatnot, does that impact you guys as well? Like, you know, the traveling and the scheduling and whatnot for ECL? Because you said that for FlyQuest, but I can imagine you know, KZG, yourself, because you guys went over to China to compete in ACL.
Like, I have a calendar set up with all the dates, and like during March, February, it was pretty packed, like event back to back, and we had like the Mesa Mongolia PGA Bucharest call. Like, we went over to Mongolia, and then a week after Brisbane, and a week after also ACL. I think as long as the events can accommodate and reschedule around that, it's okay. It's pretty packed, and like the downtime you get for practice, it's pretty limited, or can be pretty limited. But
yeah,
I don't know.
How's that for an experience to like really experience like a tier 1 team, like where they just go travel, Mongolia one week, Brisbane the next, China the after, and whatnot?
Yeah.
Like, how does that impact, the squad overall and your play style and whatnot, and like your skill level? Is it just you're just going from jet lag to jet lag? What is a time zone?
Yeah. Luckily, there wasn't too much jet lag, but if you're playing these events, I guess you're just mainly focused on competition, right? It's like you're going over, show your best. I think for us though, players probably got a bit sick of traveling. Like, couldn't bother. It was getting to them like the 13-hour flights, the long layovers, long travel days, and even like being in China for like 18 days was pretty. Like that was a lot. Like we'll play one BO1 and then have to wait 5 days for the next BO1.
Yeah.
So it's like during those 5 days, especially if like the team's in the state that it is right now, it's like, what do? You just pug, check out the place a little bit, and but like I don't mind it. Like if you're playing CS, then you want to make the most out of it and do your best. It's just making the most of the situation.
Yeah. What sort of like impacts? You talked about like your long layovers, long flights. Like what sort of impact does it have on some of the players in particular? Obviously, some players probably don't take travel well. Some of us do. Is it just like sleep deprivation or?
No, I don't think so. Like Terry and Banana and like some other players, well, pretty much Terry and Banana, their sleep is already like all over the place.
Yeah.
Mine's a little bit, but not as cooked. So it's like there's some days where this is a funny story. Like some days where they're just pugging throughout the night, and then they go to bed after the breakfast buffet. So they're pugging and they go to the breakfast buffet, and then that's when they sleep.
Jeez.
So it's like
dinner.
Yeah, it's already it's pretty wild. But for us it's kind of whatever. No one really complained about like the layovers or the travel. It's kind of just like dealing with it, which is it's good. It's always good when people just you just go through it and not too much complaints. But yeah, like for me the traveling's whatever, because like I've had some pretty cooked travel days, like 30 to 40-hour travel days. Yeah, so it's like whatever. And then that's pretty much that.
So let's go to IM Melbourne in particular. Like, do you like miss not being at IM Melbourne? Because of course you guys are in China.
Yeah, it was so sad. I wish I could be there because it's like the one big event everyone goes to. You meet up with everyone. So IM Melbourne, definitely the place to be. And having a clash of a tournament is pretty cooked.
Yeah. Like would you have observed the event if your team was there?
I think it was possible, yeah. So if I didn't play ACL, I would have been there observing. That could have been possible.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh no, chat's popping off.
Yeah, basically, Grat's giving me a raid. And I think Rags was probably being like, "Oh, Grat, raid Josh," because we got Eddie on the interview, mate.
But yeah, like IM Melbourne, a lot of socializing that I missed out on. But playing an event and like main focus is competing.
Yeah. Is that like, when you miss those sort of events in particular where you could catch up and network with a lot of people, is it kind of like, like you're sitting there in China being like, come on, I wish I was there kind of thing?
Yeah, it's like that fear of missing out. You're just like watching the stream, watching the crowd go crazy, and then it's like a lot of stuff happening.
What do you think about FlyQuest at the event in particular? I reckon they did pretty good, given they took they beat Virtus Pro and they almost beat Navi as well. Like
Virtus Pro, they're pretty much in cook situation right now, but the fact that they just punished that, they took the advantage and just closed out the winners solid. Like they gained 100 VRS, and they had a good showing, or like they've shown promising moments in a lot of their games recently. So it's like now they just need practice, fix up the small issues, and it looks good. Like even for Blast, they got like the scoreline against Spirit for the first map was like cooked, but the rounds and even the second map was pretty good. So it's definitely promising. Yeah,
they're most definitely as well. I think the first map was just a Donk and Shiro show. You get the best opener and you get the best closer. What are you gonna fucking do, really?
Yeah. Like you're versing Spirit, and like they've been together for so long, so they did what they could.
Yeah.
But yeah, I like what's happening with FlyQuest.
Anyways, that's gonna be probably it for today, Eddie. Get a bit of an insight. I'm a bit sorry to hear that the team is breaking apart. I was looking forward to this team. Okay. I was a bit disappointed at the start because I'm just like, no, this team can be so much more. Do you feel like that as well? Like, only one word could have been so much more?
Yeah. It could have been a lot more. Like,
yeah.
I think one thing that kind of messed with things is just playing around with the roles. It just, like, it was good up until there were just a lot of individual moments. Like, we didn't have the experience to kind of follow through with the style we wanted to play. And we just kept getting punished, and I was just playing like a noob too.
Yeah.
So it was a good lineup, and we had good moments, but then we hit a peak, and then just hit that moment.
Yeah.
Where we just started slumping.
Yeah, lineups have that at times, like where they hit their peak, and then they get to the next block when they have a down period, and then you just can't get over that down period. It happens at times. It's just that's the probably the hardest part, in particular, is what you do when you're playing shit. That's what I was talking to Flamesy about.
Yeah. It's like, it's always cooked when it happens, and then figuring out how to bounce back, but having the limited time, or it just goes downhill.
Anyways, have a good evening, and tomorrow you're playing Mind Freak.
Thank you.
And good luck.
Yes, Mind Freak tomorrow, 7 p.m.
Yep, on the dot.
Thank you.
See ya.
Easy. Peace.